I am never upset for the reason I think. You are never upset for the reason you think. What's good, fam? We made it to lesson 5 of A Course in Miracles. This powerful book right here that woke me up. Now, let's stay woke. You feel? Like usual, I'm gonna go ahead and begin by reading the lesson 5, day 5, and then we're gonna apply it together. We're gonna discuss what we just learned and applied, and if you have the book, you already know what to do. Open up to lesson 5, and if not, I encourage you to read along. So I provided the PDF in the description for you. Go download it, it's free, and pull up to lesson 5, and let's see what this is about. All right, now lesson 5, let's begin. I am never upset for the reason I think. This idea, like the preceding one, can be used with any person, situation, or event you think is causing you pain. Apply it specifically to whatever you believe is the cause of your upset, using the description of the feeling in whatever term seems accurate to you. The upset may seem to be fear, worry, depression, anxiety, anger, hatred, jealousy, or any number of forms, all of which will be perceived as different. This is not true. However, until you learn that form does not matter, each form becomes a proper subject for the exercises for the day. Applying the same idea to each of them separately is the first step in ultimately recognizing that they are all the same. When using the idea for today for a specific perceived cause of an upset in any form, use both the name of the form in which you see the upset and the cause of which you ascribe to it. For example, I am not angry at blank for the reason I think. I am not afraid of blank for the reason I think. But again, this should not be substituted for practice periods in which you first search your mind for sources of upset in which you believe and forms of upset which you think result. In these exercises, more than in the preceding ones, you may find it hard to be indiscriminate and to avoid giving greater weight to some subjects than to others. It might help to precede the exercises with the statement, there are no small upsets. They are all equally disturbing to my peace of mind. Whoa. Highlight that real quick and we're going to get back to that italicized portion of the lesson. Then examine your mind for whatever is distressing you, regardless of how much or how little you think it is doing so. You may also find yourself less willing to apply today's idea to some perceived sources of upset than to others. If this occurs, think first of this. I cannot keep this form of upset and let the others go. For the purposes of these exercises, then I will regard them as all the same. Then search your mind for no more than a minute or so and try to identify a number of different forms of upset that are disturbing you, regardless of the relative importance you may give them. Apply the idea for today to each of them, using the name of both the source of the upset as you perceive it, and of the feeling as you experience it. Further examples are, I am not worried about blank for the reason I think. I am not depressed about blank for the reason I think. 3 or 4 times during the day is enough. Mic drop. Oh my goodness. I hope you just picked up what was put down. This is powerful stuff right here. Now let's go ahead and break it down a little bit and then see how this all pieces together from what we already know from the previous lessons. So I just want to read that italicized portion one more time that I suggested you to highlight. It says, there are no small upsets. they are all equally disturbing to my peace of mind. When I first read that, I was mind blown because it's so true. I'm going to go ahead and explain why, but let's read the first part of the lesson again. It says, the upset may seem to be fear, worry, depression, anxiety, anger, hatred, jealousy, or any number of forms, all of which will be perceived as different. This is not true. So, me and you, we know that we're going through whatever we're going through in life. We think we are, anyways. And there's some situations that make us feel hatred towards others. There's some situations that we may be going through that make us feel worry or fear or jealousy, anxiety, etc. So me and you believe that we have a lot of situations going on outside of us that make us feel different things. And then the course says, there are no small upsets. They are all equally disturbing to my peace of mind. So that's big. And get this, we think that, okay, I'm gonna just use a wild example, okay? It's not something that's like very specific, but let's just say you have this one upset, okay? You have to go clean the house because you're being told to clean your house, or you have to do the dishes, something very small, whatever it may be. Let's just say that's upsetting you in some way because you feel like you don't want to do that right now, but it's still getting to you. But it seems that's a very small problem, right? Then there's what seems to be a bigger problem, like I have to pay the rent and I have no way of doing that right now. Let's just say that's the situation, okay? Now, paying the rent when it's almost time and there's no way of doing that right now seems and appears bigger than the little upset about doing the dishes, okay? Well, what this is telling us is that there are no small upsets. They are all equally disturbing to your peace of mind. And that's powerful. That's really powerful because no matter how big or small it may be, that's all the ego. That's all the illusion. That is all what is not. That is all false. It is all upsetting because you're seeing something that is not there, like lesson 4 states. These thoughts do not mean anything. They're like the things I see in this room. So you're never upset for the reason you think. I am never upset for the reason I think. That's just something to keep in mind, is that whenever you feel like this is just a small upset, it's still equally disturbing to your peace of mind, and it should be excluded from your thought system as soon as possible because it's serving no purpose. It's needless. It's an illusion. It's not real, and it's allowing it's keeping you, this ball of love and light and child of God, to forget who you really are, and it's not really there. And the only reason why we think it's there is because we think that the illusion is real because we've grown up in it. So we think that it's real, but it's not. And I could assure you it's not. I promise. Whatever you think that you're going through right now, and all those things that I think I'm going through when I fall asleep from time to time, it's simply dust. It's an illusion. It's not real. It's not even dust because dust has form. It's just fog that is blocking you from seeing the sun. Think of a cloud, okay? You go outside, it's a cloudy day, and there's no sun. Well, that's false because the sun is right above you, but you can't see it because of all the clouds that are in the sky blocking us from seeing the sun. That's kind of what our issues are, our so-called problems, these situations that make us jealous or depressed, angry, worry, fear. All of that is not really there. It's just this fog that is blocking us from perceiving the source within us, the light that we truly are. And it's not there. We can never diminish the light because we're not powerful enough to do that because we didn't create it. Our creator did. You feel me? And we can never usurp that power of God or the universe or source or whatever you feel comfortable with calling it, and destroy what was created. So although we can cover it up as much as we want to, even though we don't know we're doing it, it's still always shining. The light is still in you. It is who you are, and it's always shining. And whenever we can't perceive the light in any moment, it is because we have done something with this powerful tool of ours, our mind, and we miscreate it. So that way we are literally blocking our ability to perceive this world as it really is, which is love and light. So that's powerful. Now, let's go ahead and apply this a little bit, okay? So we could go ahead and say, I am not angry at my grandma for the reason I think. I am not afraid of heights for the reason I think. I am not worried about going broke for the reason I think. I am not depressed about losing my job for the reason I think. Now, those are just a lot of random examples I used, first things off the top of my mind, but today, like it says, 3 or 4 times during the day, go ahead and keep this as your number one priority. And whenever you're feeling it, just go ahead and pause for a little bit and look around you and really take a minute to identify your thoughts, and don't try too hard to think about them. Just kind of see what comes to surface and understand that you're not feeling this uncomfort for the reason you think. Now, this is a powerful lesson, and I promise you it only gets better, and it only becomes more clearer and clearer. And we're only on lesson 5, and I could just feel that you're woke right now. Like, you're like mind blown, like, oh my gosh, my whole life was a lie, and so was mine. My whole life was a lie. My whole life was an illusion that I believed was real, but it wasn't. It was just the fog that was covering up my ability to perceive the light that you are, and I am, and we all are. And this is just something to keep in mind, is that try not to take things too personally whenever a family member of yours, or a friend, or someone you don't know, a stranger, or whoever for that matter, any situation in having to do with any person who upsets you, first of all, understand that, one, if they could push your button, that means you have a button to push. Therefore, they're not the issue, if we could call it that, but it's always us, because we have a button that could be pushed. So that way, let's just remove that button, so that way they could keep being who they are being in that moment, and it can't affect us. We are effectless. We are untouchable, you feel? But two, that person, and keep this in mind most of all, is that that person who is upsetting you, and let's just say they're doing it intentionally to get you mad, the only reason ever that they could be doing that is because they are not seeing you for who you really are, which is love and light. And because they can't see you for who you really are, which is a reflection of who they are, which is also love and light, they can't see that in themselves. So show them a little compassion, and understand that that brother of ours right there is currently in a deep trance. They are asleep. They are hallucinating. They are dreaming right now, and they believe that they are capable of being attacked. Therefore, that's why they're attacking you, because that's just their insane thought system that they learned, and so did we. But me and you are here taking the time to unlearn all of that junk that is unnecessary. There's really no point to think in those terms any longer. So give them a little compassion, and just understand that, okay, let me not take this too personally, because I understand who I am and who you are, and you are just asleep to who you really are right now, because if you weren't, you wouldn't have came across to me in that way. So I'm gonna show you a little compassion, and then just go your separate ways, and then stay woke. You feel me? So lesson 5, I am never upset for the reason I think. Apply this throughout the day, and may you never be the same. Remember that there are no small upsets. They are all equally disturbing to your peace of mind. And also remember that you cannot keep this form of upset and let the others go. So with that being said, wow, That's all I can say. Until then, I will catch you lesson 6. I will see you there.